Hey everybody, I'm here with Sarah. She's another person in the community, and Sarah has some big gains in 1 year. She went from making 300 per sale at the beginning to now she's making up to 5,000 per sale in just 1 year. So it's truly possible. And we'll get into how normal Sarah is, like just like you and me. And along with having that, she's also had a $20,000 month in sales. So I mean, right? So, Sarah, circling back to all of this, before getting to all of this, what were you doing before and where are you at?
So before I got started working online, I was doing public accounting. So I had tried actually both fields of accounting. I had tried public or private first, got a feel for that, and then was like, this isn't really my thing. Tried the public side of it. So I was doing auditing and taxes,
Okay.
all that like fun, boring stuff.
That sounds very, very mundane.
Yeah. And that really was like one of the reasons why I wanted to switch to working online, because the mundane, I felt like I was waking up, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, doing chores, going to bed, repeat, like every single day. The work I was doing, it just like wasn't that exciting. And I'm not saying that like every day has to be this like big exciting thing, but it was literally the same thing over and over again. I'm a very independent person. So I was going to work and I was putting in this like really hard work and great work to build someone else's success instead of my own. And maybe that sounds a little bit selfish, but I really wanted to reap the benefits of the quality work that I put in as an individual. And so I knew that I needed to find something that where I could be my own boss, and really benefit from the hard work that I put in. So that was another reason why I like kind of switched to the online space, but even just down to the little things like having more time for family, having more time for yourself. I'm an animal lover, so having more time for my animals. But
You can frequently, I'll tag Sarah in this afterwards, but you can go see, she's always with her horses. So yeah.
Yep, a big horse lover. So I don't know. Did you ask me to share my story why I switched to online? Because I'm kind of sharing that now, but
go for it.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of like mixed in my background with sharing that. I hope that's okay.
Just go for it, yeah.
Yeah. So that accounting was what I used to do, and then made this switch after several years of just trying that. And I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Not every thing you do is going to be your forever place. That was something that it was almost like a misconception I had. I was like, okay, I go to college and I got my bachelor's degree and then went back for my master's. And then I got out and I had this expectation like, okay, the job you get has to be your forever spot.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah. And the pressure from that was just like overwhelming. And now looking back, I'm like, no, there are some places that are meant to be stepping stones to get you to where you're supposed to be. You're the most fulfilled, you're happy. And I did just that. I tried private accounting, and that was a stepping stone that led me to public accounting. And then public accounting, I was just so unfulfilled and like bored with the mundane that was the stepping stone to push me outside of my comfort zone to try something new online. So that was kind of the stones of how I hopped through them. But
that's so cool. And you're right. Like, I don't know how we got into this in society or in our life, or if it was how we were raised, that a forever thing. Like, that's definitely something I've had to overcome in my life with, jobs, people, friendships, relationship, like everything, that it's, there's a time and a purpose for all of it. And it helps you get to where you are today. So that's really cool that you like recognize that with all that.
Yeah.
Okay, what was I gonna ask next? Okay, so when you started doing all this, so which, if for you who's watching this, we do digital marketing and we work online, and there's a whole different ways to go about it. And I have a lot more videos on it if you want to check it out. There will definitely be a link below this video that you can check to see more about this. But so Sarah, did you start this full-time, part-time? Were you doing like the public accounting with this, or did you just like, no, I'm done?
Yeah. So obviously there was like a huge part of me that wanted to just be done with my accounting life, but I was the type of person, I'm just an overthinker, I'm an overworrier, and that's just my personality. I knew in order to take care of like that over worrying side of me, I decided to keep my 9 to 5, stay in accounting, and build this on the side of it, because that was just, I knew that's what I like personally needed to do. So I built this business up, and then once I got to a point where I was comfortable in it, I replaced my income. Then I just dove in to the online space full time, and now I do it full time. So
cool. So cool that you were able to replace your income. So I think sometimes people have that misconception about working online, that it's like you're just gonna be spare money or like fun money, but it's like, no, you can legitimately replace your income and make more. And I think the thing that people don't give enough credit to is, I don't know about public accounting, which I probably am guessing, but doing what I do too, like in 9 to 5, you know how much you're going to make every year. Maybe you'll get a bonus, but like there's still a limit. Whereas with this, there is literally like you made 20,000 in 1 month, right? Or was it like something around that?
yeah.
So like you see, like you don't know, and it's so fun because like you manifest it, and then you're like, oh, this is like,
Yeah.
that never would have happened. I'm sure, right?
No, it wouldn't. Yeah. And that's the big thing too. What I talked about earlier is how putting in that hard work, if you know you're a hard worker, you know you're driven, you know you're motivated, you can put in all the hard work, all the motivation, all the drive into your 9 to 5. But for most of us, we only experience that like 3% raise every year. So like at the end of the year, you're kind of like, well, dang, what did all that hard work go towards? And if it's your personality to just like always work hard and do your best at what you're doing, you kind of drain yourself and burn yourself out for very little increase in pay. And I'm not saying that's everybody. Some people get those nice bonuses, but for me, where I was at, it was going to be like that typical 3% raise every year. They didn't really do any big bonuses for me. So I was capped where I was at. And now being in the position I'm in, there is no cap, and my hard work is going towards something, which is really, really great.
Yeah. You put it, I love that you put it in the percentages, because I've never thought about it that way. And yeah, I think for me, I occasionally like putting in, I'm a hard worker. Like if you've been following me, we're like the same people, and probably a hard worker. And so you're like putting in all that work at work to get ahead, and what are you going to get? Like I think I got maybe a 5% raise 1 year, whereas the guy next to me who was working significantly less got a 4 or a 3. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, that's not right. Like that's not that much for all the work that's getting put in. So yeah.
Right. Especially now with how, I mean, every workplace is different, but there's so many places that are super short staffed. There's a lot of people out there who are having to pick up extra work, and they're not being compensated for that, which, I mean, the burnout is unreal when you were already like busy having your one duty to do, and now you have to take on somebody else's duties. So yeah, when you put it in that perspective too, it's just crazy. So.
Yes. Oh, great. What's gonna ask next? Okay. What has owning your business, you kind of hinted at this in your why, like why you talked about your family and like spending time with your animals, but what has owning your business allowed in your personal life that your 9 to 5 didn't? I guess like your top 3 things maybe.
My animals is definitely, oh gosh, yeah. Do I have to summarize it to 3? No, I just
you could do more than 3.
No. So I'm just so much of an outdoors person. I'm not the kind of person who wants to be cooped up inside all day, every day. So now having the flexibility to kind of take my work with me anywhere. Yeah, I can travel and do that, which is really cool. You can take your work with you anywhere. So that kind of ties into family. My family lives a couple hours away from me. So before I was limited to seeing them during holidays only. Is that you too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure if you were pointing at yourself, but yeah, like,
no, yeah.
So now being able to like travel and go see them on a random Wednesday, and then I'm there like doing my work during the day, and they come home, we get to have dinner together, do different things like that. So it's nice that I can do that. Or even just personal travels. But like spending time outside is my favorite. I love sitting on the porch and just like have my laptop out. I have fresh air and just like the feeling of freedom you get from even those little moments like that is probably one of my favorite things.
If it wasn't raining, I'd be working out there.
Yeah, you have an awesome back porch. Like,
It's my favorite.
yeah, no, it is. And it's just like down to the little things, the time flexibility is one of my favorite things. So cooking lunch in the afternoon, that was something like never
Yeah.
got to do. I can't tell you how many like bad microwave dinners I had to eat over the
Right?
years for
That is
lunch.
like one thing I think we all overlook and we don't hype up enough is like my lunch is so healthy and I get to make it every day and it's exactly what I want and it's not microwave. Like you talking about that is like, yes,
I
lunch is
know.
so huge.
Yeah, I'm all about the little things. So like lunch, even dinner, I'm like, oh, like I don't have to make crock pot meals every single day for
Yeah.
dinner. Like I can actually thaw stuff out and like
Yeah.
throw it on the grill. So yeah, it's nice, even just those little things. But yeah, I think I touched on three things. Just time
Yeah.
flexibility is a big one, being able to travel, take your work with you anywhere, and just being able to get outside and like spend more time doing the things you love. So my animals is my passion. So I get to spend more time with them, create a schedule around their schedule as extra as that sounds, but they're definitely
No.
pretty spoiled now getting to see me more often. So
We have cats and they're very not on the level of horses, but yes, they're very spoiled with seeing us all the time.
yeah, no, it's nice. I'm sure they enjoy it.
Yeah. And then, oh, okay. Biggest lesson you've learned working online, maybe something unexpected or just, yeah,
Um, the biggest lesson I've learned is to really that like failure isn't a bad thing. And I say that because we all have those learning moments, and those learning moments a lot of times are technically like considered failure. Everybody thinks that failure has to be this like big bad thing where you fall flat on your face and you can't get back up. And like that is not at all. Yes, that is a form of failure. But that's not always how it is, and it doesn't always have to be a big bad thing. And I've learned that failure is actually a good thing. It means that you're learning. It means that you're growing. You're moving forward. Um, so it's as simple as the little things like I send an email and I forgot to attach the attachment to the email. That's considered failure. And I'm like, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. I will make sure that never happens again. And it's those little moments like that that add up to you becoming a really great business owner. And it helps build your momentum in your business. So I'm almost, it sounds really ridiculous, but I'm almost excited to fail because I know I'm constantly failing forward. I'm constantly getting better. And that's part of that hardworking and like driven mindset that I have is I want to get better. So I didn't expect to have that perspective on failure. I never had that before I got started, but now that I'm in it, it's not as scary of a thing as everybody makes it out to be. So
yeah, a bit of a perfectionist here and the failing and just learning that failing. I've read, there's a really good book I read on confidence, and they talk all about how Western culture versus Eastern culture and failure and how we as a culture view failure is really bad. And so it's just something built into us, but it's not. And getting into this online business has really helped me see like, oh, it's not so scary.
yeah. And that's a big fear that I hear from a lot of people when they're wanting to get started in the online space is they're like, oh, I'm just so afraid to fail. And like, I 100% know where you're coming from. I had that same mindset as well. But now that I'm in it, I'm like, failure is not a bad thing. And in this business, there's no such thing as falling flat on your face and not getting back up. If you don't get back up, it's because you choose not to get back up.
Yeah.
We are surrounded by an entire community who is here to support you. You have coaches, you have training, like you have all the tools you need to keep pushing forward, even in those little moments where you make those mistakes and fail. But that's what I really like about this community is there is no just like, if you're quitting, you're throwing in the towel, that's you. That's your choice. Yeah. But yeah, so
100% agree with that. As an example, there was a guy in our community recently who has been doing this for I don't know what he said. He's been doing it for like a year almost or something, and he is restarting because he kind of fell off the horse and he did this big thing. And all of us were like, yes, like you got this. We're here to support you. And so it was really cool. I mean, to see that he put it out there to the universe and to the community, and all of us were like, yes.
Supporting him. Yeah, it is. And we all have our strong suits and we all have our other side of us that maybe we aren't so strong in certain areas.
Mhm.
The nice thing about this community too, I'm kind of like super highlighting the community here, but it's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Is you have this group of people here to support you, even in those situations or moments where maybe you're not at your strongest, whether it's like skill level or just mindset or whatever you need. There are people here to help you in those different areas. So don't feel like you have to have it all figured out. That's a big thing. Like you talked about perfectionism. I'm somewhat of a perfectionist person myself. And coming into this, I had to really kind of come in with a clean slate, clean mind, saying you don't have to have all your ducks in a row. You don't have to have it all figured out, because there is a system in place to help you with those areas where you don't have it all figured out. So
Yeah, like literally detailed on, this is messing up with your website. Here's how to fix it.
yeah,
Because I don't know how to get into all that, So
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Technology was not my friend either.
Okay, so I have one question, and then I'll follow up with like the wrap-up question. But any secrets or tips on scaling your business like you did in the course of like a year-ish, give or take?
So this sounds really crazy, maybe, I don't know, but
I
what
feel like
helps me.
nothing with I feel like nothing with entrepreneurship is crazy. Like it all, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think the biggest thing, I was lacking confidence 100% when I first got started in the online space. I wasn't comfortable or like confident in myself. I was very self-conscious. I was always worried about what other people thought. And that can really consume you and hold you back. So stepping outside of your comfort zone, just little by little, and oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry, stepping outside of your comfort zone and really becoming or like showing up as the person you want to become helped me tremendously. So even in those moments where I was like, I am scared, I am nervous, I am insecure, I'm all these things, I was like, okay, Sarah, like we acknowledge that. That's okay that you feel that way. But right now, today, I want you to show up as the person you want to be a month from now. And so I would. And that person a month from then was always a little bit more confident. And so a month would go by and I'm like, okay, Sarah, who do you want to be in 2 months? And so I just constantly showed up, even in those moments of weakness, I guess you could say, of feeling self-conscious, of feeling not totally confident. I would still show up as the person who was confident. I wanted to show up as the business owner I wanted to be a year from now. That person wasn't a year from now. That person isn't showing up self-conscious and worried and scared. That person is showing up as a total badass. And so I would really like become morph into that person that I wanted to be. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. It's like that whole be who you want to be, which took me a really long time to I mean, my mentor was always talking about like, be who you want to be, have what you want to have, live the life you want to have. And I'm like, well, how do you do that if you don't have the money? How do you do that if you don't have the time? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a plug here, but I'm totally have like I don't know if it's going to be a course or a like booklet or a session on it, but I've outlined how to like incorporate that into your life today. So if you're working a job, you're like, well, I don't have the time, I want to do everything. You can still have that life. You just have to like work it in there. And to like Sarah's point, you just have to embody who you want to be. So, and it's like little steps, like the little steps is really important. Like what you said, it's okay, I want to be the person who gets up and does yoga every day, 30 minutes in the morning. And you're maybe not doing yoga now. So maybe you start off with like, I'm going to get up and do child's pose for 5 minutes. Start there.
Yeah. And that just like, really, I would think of, okay, a year from now, when I first got started, I was like, who do you want to be a year from now? A year from like that point, when I first got started, I was like, I want to have a morning routine. Like you read and you hear in podcasts all the time that like these top successful people, they meditate, they do some reading, they do some physical activity with their body, whether it's walking or working out or yoga. And so I started to show up as that person. Could I do that all at once? No, because I was working my 9 to 5. I was busy. I had other things, but I started to do little things. So I'd get up every morning and I'd read like 2 or 3 pages. And with time, I just kind of tacked on more of those routines, until eventually then I was able to quit my 9 to 5 and I was able to do those things. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't think, okay, a year from now, what are the things you want to show up as? So yeah.
That makes so much sense. And then the last question I have is, what is one thing you know now, which I feel like you kind of hit on that with this, but what is one thing you know now that you wish you had known on day one?
I did kind of touch on this a few times, but I'm trying to think of something different because there's so many things that I look back and I wish I would have thought of. I guess probably the community. I'll touch on that a little bit. I know I've touched on the community before, but when I got started, this also goes with personality. I'm a very independent person, so I just didn't expect the support that I would get from the community. And you really have to like accept that, or not accept it, but like open up to it. That's more what I want to say. So I wish earlier on I would have opened up and participated a little bit more in the community, because the amount of friends you make in it, having that support of like-minded people who are just as driven and motivating as you, it hypes you up. It makes you want to hit those goals that much faster, because like you want to hit those goals together with your community friends. So I do wish I would have known to like participate a lot earlier on, because just the more invested you get in the community with the people you work with, the more drive it gives you for your business. So
I agree with that. I think at the beginning I felt so overwhelmed with everything that it was like, how am I going to add on doing this call? And then you feel lonely. And then you're like, okay, let me get on this call. And you're like, oh, everybody else is going through this too. So,
yeah, no, for sure. So the community is definitely nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on here, and everybody who's watching this, thank you for listening. And I hope you got so much value and insight from Sarah. And if you want to know more, there's a link below, and I will definitely tag Sarah. So if you want to go check her out and see that she really is real and she does have all these courses, you can go check that out too. But thank you.
Yeah. We'll see you guys.
Bye.